So it is springtime, and that means there are several projects going on at the farm, and we're doing a few renovations as well. I'm pretty sure in my last video I had talked about the Muscovy's pen that we built. Soon we'll probably have to we'll make one for the peacocks as well to separate them, because the male is getting a bit more aggressive with our roosters over the hens that we have in the chicken run. So we are going to have to separate them, and we're currently working on our high tunnel, and hopefully I can get a little bit of a glimpse on what it's like building one of them and post that for you guys. And recently we have also made our goat stalls. We have 2 done so far that I just want to give you guys a little bit of a picture of. So let's go check it out. Right here we have our stalls that we have recently built. Not exactly sure on size, but pallet here, and there's a pallet here, as you can see, and there's a pallet right here. And then my dad took a board and just went along across the top here, and then some smaller boards there to just give more of a structure, give more structure to it. And in here we have shavings down on the bottom, and then straw. I think there might be some hay just tossed in it as well, which won't be too much of a problem. But underneath all that, it is kind of like a mud, not mud, but how do you put it? Just like, maybe I can show you guys. Kind of like dirt, and it's also a few rocks every now and then. And so this one won't be used for a little while. We're hoping maybe like a month, because we have other stalls that we've built. And this stall here, I have been stripping it because I plan on, he also added a board here, because at the bottom of this it kind of slopes down and goes towards, slopes down at the bottom and goes towards the outside, so there might be kind of like a hole down here. But we're stripping this, and I'm going to try to go through and pick up any rocks, or at least any large rocks, and I'm going to put a tarp down and then put all the straw and shavings back in here. Now I have gotten as many rocks out of here as I could. I try to get as many large and pointy ones, because when I put that tarp down, it's not going to provide too much comfort if there's a rock, jabbing the goat in its side. It shouldn't be too bad, considering we're going to have quite a bit of straw in here and shavings, but there's no point in not picking them up. If I can do it and I have the time, I might as well. And so one of these stalls will be used for kind of like a kidding stall, which it's a fair enough size. We can stand on the outside, and there's kind of like enough space. So, but we can stand on the outside and watch her. If we need to step in, we can. There's a decent amount of space in here, and so I'm going to go ahead and lay down the tarp and put all that stuff back on it. I'm pretty sure Bo here, our female cat, has claimed this stall with Crispy as their birthing stall, so that will be fun. They'll get to hear Persephone if she's pregnant, and they'll get to have their babies next to them. Yeah, all you guys are mothers, huh? So I'm going to talk about Persephone real quick. We got her in August. She was born in May, and we introduced our buck, who was born in June. We brought him here on October 31st, And of course I remember that because of Halloween. But we introduced him in here to the farm in general. And anytime that he would try to mount Persephone, Persephone would take off. And I think I've only seen her come into heat, like actually seen her come into heat once. But he was going to town on her the 6th of March. And right now it's April the 3rd. And within the past few weeks, I have noticed that her teats have dropped in her bag. I can start feeling it. You can't see it just yet, but I could start feeling it. And it definitely, I feel like, although this is our first birth, from what I've read, for all that to be happening, she must have been pregnant sooner than March the 6th. So she might be pregnant sooner, and for all that to be happening, she should have 1 to 2 months left if she is pregnant. If that's the case, if she's going to have a birth, I want to go ahead and just get her set up. That way I don't have to worry about it when it comes time. And she needs to be separated anyways because we have to watch her food intake and make sure she's getting enough water. And overall, there's our peacock. Are you done? Okay. So she's going to have to be separated for whenever she gives the birth, so it's better to get her adjusted now, even if she isn't pregnant. That way, when it comes time that she is separated, and of course we'll eventually put another goat here. The other 2 goats will be in the back of the barn, but that's only 30 feet away, if that. So she needs to get adjusted so she's less stressed and less likely to have a miscarriage. But I'm going to go ahead and grab that tarp and lay it down. I guess I'm going to have to do some egg hunting considering she just came out from like right in that cubby. And there's no telling how long those eggs have been there. Alright, so I got the tarp down, and it seems to be just a tad bit longer, so I curled up the ends on the sides. It's not bad at all. It's almost a perfect fit. Right here, I could definitely pull it over some more, maybe like another inch. But I'm kind of hoping to leave more room over here, because like I said, there is that kind of like a slant, which leaves a little bit of a gap between the wall of the barn and the ground. And I don't want any wind blowing up while they're in here. As you can see, it kind of puffs up. And that's because of that right there. But it's definitely, like, you can't feel any difference in temp-wise. But if I'm to put all that shaving on there, it should definitely help. There might be like a gap in here. Yeah, I could feel something. I don't know if you guys can see that shaking. I'm not sure. Yeah, you can definitely see. I may need to move her. Alright, well, I'm going to figure that out. And I'm going to give my dad a call, see what he thinks, and may move back into the other stall. But hey, at least this one, there are no rocks in here, and it is ready for its tarp as well. So I may just leave this tarp and find a new one. I gave him a call, and what we decided to do was to shove some of the shavings down there, because it should be, at least in the next week, it should be anywhere from like 65 to 75, and it's only going to get warmer. So as long as we can keep some of the cold air out, they should be fine. And we plan on doing a barrel either over there or like one of the corners, and I don't think they will need a heat lamp, but the barrel alone filled with straw and whatnot should be good enough for the goat. And of course we could always go and buy one of those cute little sweaters. I don't know why there's a screw here. Someone did not do a good job. I'm just kidding. But we'll make sure there are no more screws. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and start filling it back up with this straw and shavings. So I'm giving it the overall test. I think I made the hay about like ankle deep. This over here might be a little bit deeper. But the rest was pretty much an ankle deep. I made the corners and this side over here. If you could see, there's like holes over here. So I want to make sure I can kind of cover those up. But I made this a bit deeper, and then on the other side it's not as bad. Just covering up that hole over there so the air is not too much of a problem. And I'd say overall it's pretty comfy. I definitely don't feel any of the cold mud on the ground, and I don't feel any rocks, so I'd say it's pretty good. I'm obviously gonna add more as we go, but I think it's pretty good. I need to fluff that back up since I flattened it, but overall I think we did good here. Alright, now I am gonna go get her hay net. Her hay net's not as big as this horse's hay net. This is Misty, by the way, and hers is more small. I'm gonna go get that and show you guys it. I'm gonna fill it up and put it in the corner. I'm not sure if any other goats are used to eating out of a hay net, but whenever Persephone first got here, that's what we got for her to eat out of, and she's been eating out of it, I'd say at least half a year, and so she's used to it. And of course this horse is upset because the hay and straw used to sit right here where the stalls are now at, and she used to be able to pick through these large bars. She used to bust open bales and just pull the hay through as a snack. And let me tell you, she has a big round bale outside, and she normally has hay in this and hay in this, and it's just never enough. So she's always eager to get a snack. Alright, let me go get that hay net and I'll show you guys it. Hopefully you guys can hear me. They are currently working on our high tunnel, but here are the goats. We just have 3 at the moment, and Persephone is this one over here. This is Athena. That is Finn's butt, if it will come back in focus. Okay, and this is Zeus, the black dapple. And I'm not sure if you guys can see. Maybe you guys can give us a good guess of whether or not she's pregnant. And of course, he's a little bit of a bully. Loves on you, and then out of nowhere, he wants to hit you. But we're not too worried about it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this hay net, discard the hay that's in it, and this is the size it is. So it's perfect for her mouth. And of course I pull some of the hay out so she can eat it and she'll be able to pull it, but it should be good. And I'm going to hang it up kind of high where only she can get it in case she does have those kids. I don't want them tangled up in any of these. Yeah, Wilbur? You got something to say about it? I'm going to add a bit of a goat haul into this video as well. And this goat haul is for pretty much the basic necessities that I have grabbed for just owning goats in general, all the way to the pregnancy. And if our goat isn't pregnant already, she's coming up to the age where we will be trying to get her pregnant. So right now she's hanging out with Zeus because we believe she is pregnant, and he is not aggressive. He's pretty tame. The only time he becomes aggressive for the most part would be towards us, and that is very rarely. And by aggressive I just mean kind of harsh, as in he headbutts us a little harsher and that kind of sort of thing. It's never been a problem. He never leaves bruises or anything. It's difficult to kind of work around if you're trying to do stuff out in the yard. But with him being in the pasture now, and in the barn at night, we don't really have to work around him, as we were keeping him just in the backyard while the pasture was wet and it was like winter. We didn't want them out in the pasture. We wanted them out where they could get in between like certain objects to stay warm and get down in the low side of hills to block the wind. And so right now we're not too worried about him. I mean, if she isn't pregnant, then hopefully she'll get pregnant soon and it will be a success. If not, if for whatever reason she's just not getting pregnant, we're going to go make sure that everything is okay with the vet. She's already seen the vet once, and she seemed pretty good. There wasn't really any complications, no sicknesses from what we could tell. But yeah, starting with iodine and lube. Lube here in the gallon was 16 bucks. This was about $10. For an 8-ounce bottle of iodine, it was $5. And for lube, the 8-ounce, it was $8. So half the price for 8 ounces, or you can get a whole gallon for twice the price, which kind of saves you money in the long run. For iodine, I could not find a shelf life, I guess you could say. It doesn't really expire as long as this cap is secure when you are done using it. And for lube, there is a shelf life, but I have yet to really find one. So I think as long as everything looks okay, if it's good color, if nothing's really changed to it, and we're keeping that cap secure, then hopefully we can use a good amount of this. Even if it is, say, we get halfway, at the end of the day, it would still be cheaper to buy all that versus that 8-ounce bottle. So right here, I have the Jump Start Plus. They have gotten this a few times, especially our new goat, Athena, and it gives you about, kind of like how many grams you would need to give them. Let me see if I can find it. And for that, you would just kind of move this, I'm not sure what you call it, like a circle, piece of circle, plastic piece, okay. And you would just move it up and down to whatever they would need. And then I have Nutri Drench. This was, I believe this was $7, and this was $17. And it's for all classes of goats, and it provides a rapid, rich nutrition supplement. Let me find, that's the ingredients. Of course, we're not affiliated with any of these companies. I should probably add that in there. So for newborns, it just kind of gives them an extra boost after they are born, of course, and it shows you how much you should give, 2 pumps, and then for the mature goats, it's 1 fluid ounce. It doesn't really say pumps. At least I don't see it. Yeah. So I also grabbed, I want to see if I have anything that isn't related to pregnancy. Okay. So I grabbed these. I have not used these before, but it's for pretty much all livestock. And it's just providing you the vitamins and electrolytes that they need. You just mix it in with their water. And then it gives you the vitamins and minerals that they're, not minerals, the vitamins that they are providing. And I know vitamin E is very important for the goats. And let me see. I believe that's the one that's very important for the baby, the ducklings. We were looking into that this past week. And then it gives you the directions for when you use it. And then here's the ingredients down here. Yeah, we just picked that up. It was $2 at the local feed store, which is Royal King for us. And there's a couple different types actually, but for whatever reason I decided to grab this one. I figured for $2 and for all classes of animals. If we don't end up using it, we could use it for something else. Pretty much we have all of these animals except the cow and the sheep. So it'll come in handy. It will come in handy one way or another. So for pregnancy, this is what we've gotten so far. I have, instead of towels, I got the puppy pads with 4 in a pack. These came from Dollar Tree, so they were both $1 each. And I figured that would be a lot better to grab instead of just grabbing a whole pack of like 50 or so, because we rarely really use these. They do come in handy for quite a few things, but for us, we don't need a big package just lying around collecting dust. If we could just grab these. I know I was talking about saving money by going bigger, but and of course you can use iodine with different animals. But anyways, back on this. So the puppy pads would be used to clean off the kids after they are kitted, in the sense as you clean them off, clean out the airways. And we plan to get a bulb syringe to kind of help with their nasal congestion if there's anything up in there. And we just grab these instead of having to waste towels, which can be expensive. She was just up there with him. I guess they are admiring my work, and of course they're over there scouring about because it's not good enough. Being a little harsh, aren't you? Yeah, you better go. Oh no. Okay, you got it. Okay. Goofy. Alright, so what I got here is some water, and I added some apple cider vinegar in it. I'm hoping to get a couple trays. Hey, this was in there. What are you doing? Stop taking it out. Anyhow, so I'm going to get a couple trays and probably screw it onto that wall or this one. And that will be for her loose mineral and baking soda. And I think that will be it. Of course, I still got to hang that hay net. Now I have her water in place, and I have a hay net hung up. We just added a flake this time. That way, it's not sitting in the bag if she wasn't to eat it all. We would be able to switch it out, and she'd get it finished. I don't want it in there longer than what it needs to be. That way, it's not getting any like mold or just kind of old hay isn't really healthy at all. So I'd like to be exchanging that out with fresh hay, and it's better if she was to eat it all than for it to go to waste. That's why there's just a flake in there. Put up the gates. This is kind of how we're using them. This is like a cattle panel, and it's smaller at the bottom. It's smaller. We may run some like chicken wire if the kids can still get out, but we just kind of stapled them there, and then we put the, let me see if I can get that. Okay, so you put the bar through here, and you just kind of run it back and forth. Try to get this while on camera is a little more difficult. She knocked her back over, as you can see, but she was eating out of her hay bale last night. And let's see if I can get that. There we go. And then there's a bit of a handle here, and then you use just like a torch and a hammer to bend that, and that's pretty much it. It's simple, and it's very strong. Of course, this is cattle panel. So she spent the night in here, and then Athena slept in this one. Since we went ahead and got the gate set up, we just went ahead and put her in there. There's not a tarp, but I'll fix that later. It won't be too much of a problem. And then Zeus slept in the back where they originally were staying, and they were not very happy at first. Persephone was crying because we were leaving her alone, and so we moved Athena up, and then Zeus was crying because he was alone, but it took maybe like half an hour. They were all fine afterwards. Zeus was fine, and yeah, they all slept through the night. I don't know if you could see him. Just walked in. Zeus! He hears me. He doesn't know where I'm at. Oh, poor baby. Oh, there's Athena. Athena is commercial. boar. He's 50% commercial, and Persephone's percentage. They're curious at where I'm at. They're currently in the horse's pasture because the horse and donkey are in the goat's pasture. And they're trying to see if there's any grain. Yep, there's grain. The horse did not come over last night to eat our grain. The stalls, for the most part, are now finished. Right now, Athena is eating her hay out of a milk crate. So I might buy her a hay net, or we might construct something and add it to her stall for her hay to go in. But the milk crate right now is doing just fine as well. She does knock it over, as you can see. So, and there's a chicken in there. That's crispy. And she knocked all the hay and straw into the water. I know that was you, Crispy. On my Lanta. Anyways, so pretty much the last steps that we're going to be doing, and I'm not going to add it on video just because it's simple, but we have these old syrup, little jugs that syrup used to be in for like soda, and we cut them up and shave down the sides. We're going to go through and shave it a little better, most likely. And then you just screw them on, and that's where the baking soda and minerals, loose minerals, will be going. And we have a couple of those, so we're just going to add them to the inside of her stall. And so far, everything's been working out. They've been in here for 4 nights about that. And there's Persephone. Hi. I know the flash is on, sorry. So far, these stalls have been working really well for the goats. And we're going to add another one most likely over here. It might be bigger, or it might be the same size. If it's bigger, that would be great for when it comes to kidding. They have a little more room. But so far, they've enjoyed these. Last night, we did trim their hooves up, and Persephone ended up laying down during it, and we just had to pull her leg out from under her, and she just let us clip them that way. Athena did really well. At first, she jerked a little bit, like jerked her back legs. And then after that, I had a hold of their head and kind of like their chest, and my dad trimmed the hooves up. And after that, she kind of just relaxed in my arms, and it wasn't too big of a deal, which was shocking since she's pretty skittish around us a little bit. But I think she's coming around since we have separated them, and now she's getting a little more one-on-one with us, which has been great. And Zeus was not too happy because he likes, he's you know, different, and so he was a bit of a struggle, but he's also a love bug, so it was kind of surprising. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you guys are looking into making goat stalls, this is something that you can base your future goat stalls off of and get a little bit of information on what's going on in the farm. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment if you guys enjoyed our videos. Thanks for watching.